Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're drawing insights from Lori Gottlieb's incredibly revealing book, Maybe You Should Talk to Someone. And let's just start with the hard truth, okay? When you sit down on that couch, your therapist is absolutely analyzing you. But behind that notepad, they are just as human, just as messy, and honestly, just as flawed as you and I are.
Here's what we're covering today. We'll start with the accidental therapist, then peek behind the therapist's door. After that, we'll dive into the presenting problem illusion and wrap things up by decoding patient personality types. Let's get right into it. All right, Section 1, the accidental therapist, or how to go from Hollywood to the therapy room. Now, you might think therapists are just, born with a clipboard wanting to analyze people from day one. But Lori's path, it was way more winding. She actually kicked off her career in Hollywood. She was an unfulfilled TV producer working on massive hits. We're talking ER and Friends. But while she was on set, she realized she was kind of drawn more to the medical side of things. Fast forward a bit, and she eventually found her true calling as a therapist and a writer.
And this brings up a fantastic takeaway right out of the gate. Finding a fulfilling career, it isn't about hunting down one single perfect destiny. It's really a mixture of evolving passions. For Lori, it was this unique combo of therapy and her love for writing that finally clicked. So if you're out there right now searching for your own calling, just remember, you might have to keep mixing things up to find that perfect blend.
Moving into Section 2, behind the therapist's door and the messy human reality.
Okay, get ready for the ultimate secret of the whole profession. Therapists are real people, and they have their very own blind spots. In the book, Lori is super open about going through this brutal, agonizing breakup with her own boyfriend. It just goes to show, therapists go through messy breakups. They completely miss their own flaws, and yet, they need therapy just as much as we do to untangle their own lives.
So you're probably wondering, how do they stop all that personal drama from bleeding into your session? Well, when a therapist hits a personal crisis, they actually sit down with groups of other therapists. They basically attend group therapy specifically to discuss their patients. They do this to get fresh viewpoints and, absolutely crucially, to remove any personal bias. It's how they make sure they're treating you effectively rather than just clocking in and treating it like some detached day job. Think about it like this. You can totally walk into an urgent care clinic and blast your flu symptoms to literally any doctor on the clock, right? But therapy? It does not work that way. Reality demands a true meshing bond. If you don't have that click, you're simply not going to accept the hard criticism it takes to actually heal. You've got to find someone you genuinely, authentically connect with. Which brings us to Section 3, the presenting problem illusion. Surface versus depth.
So, in the psychology world, a presenting problem is basically the surface-level excuse you give for walking into the office in the first place. It's the thing you claim is the one and only reason you need help. But, as pretty much any therapist will tell you, it is almost never the whole story, not even close.
Take Lori's own life as the perfect example here. Her presenting problem was, hey, my boyfriend is a scumbag, we broke up, please just validate me so I can be cured. Right? That's the surface. The deeper issue, the giant iceberg hiding beneath the water, was an underlying history of destructive patterns that she had completely ignored. The presenting problem might get you in the door, sure, but that deeper issue, that is what actually keeps you in the chair.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 4, decoding patient personality types. Who actually goes to therapy?
There's actually a pretty wild truth about who ends up on that couch. Let's break it down. Type A individuals, folks dealing with internal struggles like schizophrenia, they have a really low likelihood of seeking therapy, mostly because they're trapped internally. Then you have Type C folks who are antisocial or avoidant, meaning they actively avoid external help. But Type B personalities, those with narcissistic or borderline traits, they have a massive likelihood of seeking therapy. Why? Because they're extroverted, they're outspoken, and they desperately need feedback after their behavior inevitably destroys a relationship.
And because of these specific personality drivers, only a surprisingly tiny fraction of Americans will ever actually seek out professional therapy. It's not this universal experience that everyone goes through. It's actually a highly specific demographic driven by very specific external needs. Honestly, when the original reviewer learned that fact, it completely blew their mind.
Now, when therapists refer these more capable patients to each other, they use an insider term. The ultimate compliment is calling someone a high-functioning patient. And that simply means the person isn't just going to walk into the office, cry, and blame the entire world for their problems. They can actually step back, observe their own behavior, and are fundamentally capable of making real, tangible changes. So if we put it all together, the picture of our typical Type B therapy candidate looks a little like this. They're extroverted. They're outspoken. and they are desperately seeking external feedback to help navigate the relationships they've managed to destroy. Their lives might be totally chaotic, but hey, they are willing to outwardly seek guidance, and if they happen to be high-functioning, they're actually willing to do the hard work to find a solution.
To wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. If you walked into a therapist's office today, what would your presenting problem be? What's that surface-level complaint you'd eagerly offer up? And more importantly, what deeper truth, what hidden pattern or messy history is that problem hiding from you? Think about that for a bit. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.